Tonight, I want to begin our lesson by talking about this and this, the difference between the two that I just showed you. One's a credit card, one's a debit card. And let's see if I can do it. I don't carry a lot of this because, let's face it, we got debit cards in today's world. But this, you know what that is? A $1 bill. And I'm going to put it back in my wallet. This is a good old-fashioned George Washington. Y'all like George Washington, right? Y'all got a piggy bank full of George Washingtons, right? Yeah, but those are more quarters more than dollars. But hey, we got change. Change works. Change is money. I want to talk to you as we start our lesson about money. This morning, when I got to work, I was just kind of going through my emails, and then I found an email, and it was from Right Now Media, because they do that. They spam your inbox, and I'm okay with that because they give you good information. But they spam my inbox with something I needed to see. It was a lesson about how to handle money. It was written by Andy Stanley. It said, if money talked. If money talked, what would it say? What would it say? What would it say? Bree, what would it say if money talked? That's probably true. You don't keep me around the line. They probably say, hey, why are you buying that? You don't need to go to Chick-fil-A for the third time this week. Stay out of that place. They say, hey, you don't need new shoes. You have 50 pairs in your closet. You don't need another one. It would probably say, hey, I know you think you don't have any clothes, but I've been to your closet, and I see that you have a gazillion amount of clothes. A lot of it. You don't need another Galveston t-shirt. You have 5 of those. You don't need another one, right? That's what money would say. A lot of times in this world, we take money because our money has value, and we spend it on something we already have 15 of, right? We do that. I don't know why we do it, but we think we need. You see, Americans, you're not going to like this statement, but Americans can be a bit greedy. We just want, and we want, and we want. We got to have more, we got to have more, and we got to have more. You see, we place our value in what we have. We place our value in what's in our bank account. We place our value in what kind of car we drive or the shoes on our feet. That's how we gain our self-worth. That's how we know if we made it. We look at our life and we say, hey, if I had that boat, if I have that 3-story house, if I am living in Beverly Hills, if I have the next latest and greatest game system, I'm set. You can't make fun of me because look at what I am wearing tonight. We say that. We think that way. And even if we don't consciously think that way, we measure ourselves by that. That's where we find our value. But for a moment, I want to challenge that idea. For too long, Americans have let money give themselves value instead of letting their money work for them. You see, money is just a tool. It's not created by you. It was created for you to manage while you're here on this earth. And to manage it wisely. Manage it wisely. Let's face it, we don't always need more. What we need to do is manage what we have. Money has value. A $1 bill is worth a $1 bill. $5 bill, guess what? That's worth $5. A $10 bill, it's worth $10. A $100 bill, can you imagine that? A $100 bill, for some of you, you're going to be paying me a $100 bill tonight to go on that mission trip, right? Yeah, your mission trip payments due if you did not know. Surprise, here we go. Money has value. And if we steward it properly, it can work really well in our behalf. But if we don't, it can cause a lot of hardships, a lot of pain, and it can honestly affect our self-worth if we're not careful. Why am I talking about money? Why is that what we're talking about to start tonight's service? Money has value. Money is worth something. Here's the thing. It's been here before you arrived, and it'll be here after you go on to meet your Maker. The thing that goes with you is what you do on this earth. The thing that goes with you is how you invest your time, what you invest your resources is. But I've learned this, your money stays here. I've learned this. That Tom Brady pennant you have in your bedroom, Ethan, stays here. Doesn't go with me. Doesn't go with me at all. And so I think it's important for us to wrap our mind around that although we like to think our money gives us value, in reality, it has nothing to do with that. You need to know this. You're valuable tonight because God says you're valuable. Tonight, you're valuable because someone paid a whole awful lot for you. Tonight, you're valuable because of the person who created you. You're not valued based on what you have. You're not valued based upon how many Benjamins you have in your wallet. You're valued because God says you're valued. And so tonight we're going to be discussing this idea, Samuel, of value. And how not only you have value, but Jonathan, your friends have value. And your teachers. And those in leadership above you. Even the president that at times we make fun of. They have value. And so my question is, how do we treat value? How do we treat the value in our pocketbook? How do we treat the person valuable right beside us? Or maybe the person of value who's pushing us in the hallway. How do we treat people of value? Why do I bring up money tonight? Is this a sermon on money? No, it's not. No, the money is done. We're done talking about money for a little bit. I'm going to get back to it, but we're done for now. We're done for now. This is not a sermon about money. I encourage you to be good stewards of your money, but this isn't about money. It's about knowing your worth and knowing how valuable you are, but also realizing that you make it a mission not to be greedy about yourselves. I want to read this to you. It's a statement that I wrote, not trying to quote myself, but sometimes I can write things better than what I can speak. Have you ever been there? Like, if you read this, it's probably going to be better than sometimes what I speak. I'm from East Texas. I say things incorrectly. I write things correctly. I say things incorrectly. Any Texans in the house do the same thing? There we go. I'm not alone. Good deal. Good deal. I want to read this to you. If we are not careful, it is easy to let yourselves be greedy about your own self-worth or image at the expense of others. This is what I mean. It's easy for you to be so concerned about yourself that you forget about someone else. It's easy to be so concerned about yourself that you put someone else down to lift yourself up. Have you ever seen that happen? You're walking through the hallway and you're like, oh, yeah, I got my book bag on my back. It's fun. Going to calculus. Oh, look at that guy. He's missing his front tooth. I got all my teeth. You know what I mean? That happens. That happens. It's someone at a tennis tournament and someone not hitting the ball correctly, and next thing you know, there's some girls in the corner and like, did you see the way she hit that ball? It looks silly. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, absolutely. It's you're trying to make free throws and you're, shooting the ball, and the next thing you know, you hear this little pipsqueak in the corner say, "You stink. You stink." You're putting someone else down to, you think, lift yourself up. That's what greed can do. Greed creates selfishness. It gets you so focused on you and what you can get that you forget about the people of value beside you, to your left and to your right. You need to know this tonight. You are worth it. You are valuable. There's nothing taking that away. There is nothing you can do to diminish your value, even if you make stupid choices. But also, the people you come into contact with, they're just as valuable as you. Because you're created by the same Creator. You were both created in His likeness and His image. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, to change the world. So you're not necessarily better. We're set apart. We're different because we choose to face or chase after Christ, but that doesn't mean we're necessarily better. That just means we're making a wiser choice. If wiser is a word. I think it is. It is. Good. Very good. Tonight we're going to be looking at a verse in 1 Peter chapter 2. But have you ever met someone who devalued another because of the shoes they were wearing? Jay knows what I'm talking about. Have you ever met someone because instead of wearing MJs, they were wearing like FUBU? Y'all like this stuff nowadays. This is going to show my age, okay? When I was your age, you had to wear Nike, you had to wear Adidas. If you wore Champion, you were looked down on. You sure was. Life has changed. Life is different. Champion's what you got at Walmart. Nike's what you got at the Nike store. Yeah, it was fantastic. But I know what that's like. Like money, if we're not careful, it is easy to allow your life to serve yourself. Like money, it is easy to let life serve yourself instead of the people around you, instead of God. Tonight, we're going to be reading a scripture verse that's challenging. And when I read the history behind that verse, it's going to be even more challenging because of what they were dealing with. The reality is, we have to care about the people around us just as much as we care about ourselves and our future. Learn to treat everyone you meet with dignity. Learn to treat everyone you meet with dignity. Let's look at that verse together. 1 Peter chapter 2. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us. Submit yourself for the Lord's sake to every human authority, whether to the emperor as a supreme authority or to the governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. And this is verse 17. This is the one that punches you in the gut. You ready to be punched in the gut tonight? It's going to hurt. Show proper respect to everyone. Show proper respect to everyone. Let me say that again. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of the believers. Fear God. Honor the emperor. As we move into the background passage, I just want to ask this. For those of you who have a car, wave your hand. Whee! Hey, when you get ready to buy a car, do me a favor. Everybody in the house, listen up. We're talking about money a little bit tonight. Don't feel like you got to buy a brand new car, okay? You don't have to buy a brand new car. That's a free bit of wisdom from a guy who's a little bit older than you. You don't have to get a brand new car. You know what? If you get a car, you can pay cash for it. What does that mean? It means you don't go in debt. Let me do you a favor. Don't go into debt if you can avoid it. Sometimes your child has to have their tonsils out. That's a different ball game. I thought I had to have student loans, different ball game. But if you can choose not to go into debt, don't. Don't go into debt. But again, that's not what we're talking about tonight. Not what we're talking about tonight. Have you ever been driving? For those of you who can drive, and you come across a yield sign. A yield sign. Not a stop sign. A yield sign. Okay? A yield sign. You know what I'm talking about? The thing that's like a little triangle with like a red line that says like yield. You know what I'm talking about? It says yield on the sign. Every time I'm passing that in the go lane, you know what happens? The person who's supposed to yield does this. Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. It says yield. You know what that means? You yield to the oncoming traffic. You're not the oncoming traffic. You yield to the oncoming traffic. And you know what people do? They say, I'm better than you. I'm going. You've seen that before, whether you know it or not. You know, that is my way. When I see this happen, this is what goes through my mind. Oh, I see how it is. You think you're better than me. Okay? You think you're better than me. I don't like that. I don't like that. And you know what that also says? You think you are smarter than the government. And you're not. There's a reason why you're in debt up to your eyeballs. Now, I know this is a silly example, but the reality is, people live this way. People think that the laws that govern this land are stupid and that they don't apply to them. They apply to everybody. And honestly, if we follow the laws of the land, whether we think they're stupid or not, we're going to find ourselves in a better place. For instance, if I don't drink and drive, can that make a difference in the world? Absolutely. No brainer there. Okay? Watch that. I'll hit you in the nose. Let me give you another rule. If the speed limit says 75 and I'm going 95, can something go wrong? Absolutely. Again, another silly example. So when the law says, hey, don't go out and kill people, because it says that, I think it's a law worth following, right? A lot of the laws that are in place are there to help you and to make you better. Like when we look at the Old Testament as well, and the laws, the Ten Commandments, you know, those laws were put in place to help you. They were never put in place to hurt you. They were put in place to help you. And so the government officials, following their train of thought, at times can be smart. Let's go and read. We already read that verse. Let's get into the background of it. What do you say? All right. This is why this verse is important. Peter is writing to a church that's been scattered. Okay? The church is kind of every different place because persecution was either about to take place or it has already taken place. We don't exactly know the date of the writing, but what we do know is what happened in 64 AD. There was an emperor named Nero. This was a bad dude. Okay, if you were a Christian, you know what he would do? This is what he would do. He would, in an attempt to overcome you basically became a scapegoat, okay? You know all politicians fight against something, and this politician was like, you know what, Christians, taking them out to lunch. So I'm going to take a Christian, and I'm going to put him in my garden, and I'm going to light him on fire so that at nighttime I can see my beautiful roses. This happened. This actually happened. You know what he did with Christians? He would take you, and he would throw you in a coliseum, and he'd let a lion eat your face off until you were no more. This actually happened, okay? I'm not making this up. I'm not over-exaggerating this. This happened with King Nero. He was persecuting the Christians left and right. Why did he do this? You know, Judaism and Christianity, they were like the sore that it seemed like the Roman Empire could not get rid of. But for one, it seemed a little bit easier to persecute than the other. Judaism has been around forever. You know, it's just a part of the Roman culture, but the new Christian movement, these guys were different. These guys weren't like the rest. They would go around saying, I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Some people might have thought that was incest. If you don't know what that means, ask your parents. They would go around and take communion, and when they received communion, they basically were saying, this is the blood of Jesus Christ. This is the body of Jesus Christ broken for you. And that sounds a little bit like cannibalism, right? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Some people claim that they was atheists for believing in Jesus instead of what they thought was God. And so they were the easy people to pick on. Now, we all know that that's not true. I mean, when we're receiving communion, we're not actually, it's just grape juice and bread, okay, guys? We remember in our mind what Christ did for us. When we say, I love you, that is not our way of saying we want to take you out on a date and we want to marry you. Okay? That's not what we're saying. That would be weird. I already have a wife and she's gorgeous. When we... All right, you get the point. We know that Jesus is the Son of God. So it's not crazy for us to claim that he is God because he was there in the beginning. But Nero didn't like that. The people didn't like that. So they persecuted the church. Peter says to love one another, to respect one another, to do good. And you do good so much that it forces another person to make a decision about you. Not only that, you do good and you honor the emperor. Let that sink in. The guy who lit Christians on fire. The guy who threw Christians in the Colosseum. The guy who persecuted. The guy who would probably order stonings of Christians. Peter's saying to honor the government. By doing good, we silence foolish talk of ignorant people. The believers are encouraged to live free from sin, and therefore they are free from the bondages of what their body longs for. He says, hey, do good, do good, do good. You're set free because of Jesus Christ. Do good. Don't be a slave to your sin. Live different. And because you're living different, people are going to have to make a decision on who God is. One day, by seeing your life, they are going to have that encounter with God. Judgment Day would be upon them. Who would they serve? That would be different if we're just talking about President Trump or President Obama or President Bush, but those guys didn't light me on fire and stick me out in the backyard. Those guys didn't try to kill my life. This emperor did. And Peter is writing to you and to me and to the Christians spread all around. We need to honor those in authority. Today, I was just got back from one of our school lunches. I get to help out with Ben Harmon in Louisville. I get to help out with Durham. And on the way back, I kind of stopped by the park to at least give myself a mental break. And I came upon this article of a man. And he was out in France just shopping, going to a flea market. If you've never been to a flea market, there's a really good one in Canton. Every first Monday, I encourage you to check it out. But be wise with your money, okay? This guy was wise with his money. Let me tell you how. He came upon this person who had a bunch of cool coins, and I think a cookie jar. I think they were in a cookie jar. And he's looking at them, and he's like, this coin's different. It says 1776 on it. It says Continental on it. Hey, can I buy this? What do you want for it? What do you want for this coin? What do you want for it? What do you think he said? Anybody? Close. He said, hey, sell it to you for 50 cents. Okay? 50 cents. Okay. So it's like, well, shoot, yeah, here you go. He takes it home, he Googles it, he tries to figure out, what is this coin? So he takes it, he Googles the term 1776, which that's an important date. Maybe some of you know that. And he also types in continental currency. And suddenly he starts seeing these pictures of his coin, of the coin he's holding in his hand. And he's like, that's my coin. I gave 50 cents for this coin. You know how much that coin is worth? $100,000. That coin has value. Okay? Now, we look at this coin and we're like, that's incredible, right? That's incredible. And I'm going to be really honest with you. If you were that coin, your value is not 50 cents. Your value is $100,000. But when you're out living your life, some of you might feel like a 50-cent piece, okay? But you're not. You're not that. You're worth more than $100,000. More than that. And that's a lot of money, okay? Your worth is unlimited. You need to know that. Because if you understand your worth, that means you also understand the worth of the person beside you. You also understand the worth of that guy in Dallas who's living under a street corner. You also understand the worth of the president sitting in his Oval Office. You also understand the worth of the person who does not have the same skin color as you. You also understand the worth of the people who are living in unlivable conditions. I think you understand what I'm saying. You're worth it. You're worth it because Christ gave his life for you. You're worth it. And so is everybody else. Tonight, I want you to get one thing from this sermon. Treat everyone else you meet with dignity. The reality is we are all created equal and in the likeness of God. In verse 17, we see that we are to treat those around us, those in the church, those in the government, those at school, those that lead us. We're supposed to treat them with dignity and respect. And we're supposed to give a special attention. And this is what's going to cause all this to come into place. You're supposed to fear God. Okay, let me be honest with you. We can't do what I'm asking you to do tonight if we don't fear God. Okay? We can't do it. We can't do it. Are y'all okay? Okay. Okay, right on. Rock and roll. What's his name? Yeah, Ulysses Grant. We all knew that. How about that? All right. Here's the thing. We can't do this if we don't have God in our life. I can tell you to treat your neighbor equally, but we won't unless we are connected to the one who gave us life. That's how that's going to work. If we want our heart to change, it takes God helping that to change. Okay, so you got to fear God in order to make this happen. But then as we fear God, as we grow in relationship with God, as we do those devotions, as we go to church, as we pray, something begins to happen. We begin to see people as equal. Not as a stair-step ladder on who can get to the top first. We start seeing people as equal, as equally valuable. And then, when you hear someone make fun of your coach, you can be like, he doesn't deserve that. Then, when you hear someone making fun of your president, past, present, or future, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, you can say, hey, that's not how we should be talking about our president. When you hear someone say, that preacher, he just doesn't speak all that good, you can say, he's devoting his life to chase after God. What are you doing with yours? You know, we stand up for those that other people make fun of because we understand their value. You know, I've seen way too many churches split because the pastor changed the carpet. I have seen a lot of that. I'm serious, that actually happens. I've seen a lot of political parties become divided because they don't like the person in office, because they don't fit their agenda. Doesn't matter the party. Happens. I've seen a lot of people quit playing a sport because they say their coach doesn't like them. I've seen a lot of people fail a class because they believe their teacher hates them. I've seen a lot of that. That's not unique. That's happened when I was your age. But we're all valuable. And so for us to say that about someone else, for us to belittle someone else, to put ourselves on a pedestal, we can understand that that can create a real problem. People are valuable to God. This is what we can take away from this. We need to treat everybody with respect. Here's the thing. Value is determined by two things actually. Let me take that back. It's determined by two things. You ready for this? Value is determined by the price someone's willing to pay. And also value is determined by who the creator is. Van Gogh paintings, that's a painter, right? Van Gogh. His paintings are worth a ton because of his name. You want to know something? That coin is worth $100,000 because someone's willing to pay $100,000 for it. If you look at the life of a person, how do we have value? I mean, we're created from dust. We live, we die. Hopefully we get to get married and have babies in between. Grandbabies. Heard that's fantastic. But what gives us value? Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared for us in advance to do. We have value because of who created us. God created you in His likeness and His image. God created you. And God created your neighbor. And God created your government official. And God created the person that everybody despises. God created them, so that means they're valuable. Okay? 1 Peter 1:18 through 19. For you know that this was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. Your life was not purchased by gold. It wasn't purchased by silver. It wasn't purchased by a war. Your life was purchased by Christ's ability to die on a cross to take away your sins, to take away your punishment for those sins. We are valuable because Christ died for you. Bree, if you could come to the stage tonight. So we ask, how much are we worth? It's a good question. How much are we worth? We talked about money. We talked about a coin. We talked about presidents. We talked about emperors. We talked about persecution. How am I worth it? Well, you're worth it for two things. If God was willing to send Jesus to this earth to purchase you back from the damnation of your sin, that must mean you are worth the valuable amount. If God created you in His likeness and image, that means you are valuable because of the person who created you. Tonight, we understand that our self-worth is not meant to just prop ourselves up. It's a tool that we can use to help other people. If we understand our worth, we can understand the worth of someone else. We have to care. We have to care about God. We have to care about our school. We have to care about the people we come into contact with. We have to care. You're valuable. So are they. If you are tempted to treat them poorly, whether your actions are justified or not, remember that God created them as your equal. If He deserves your respect and dignity, so do they. So do they. You have to care about your self-worth, and also you have to care about the worth of someone else. It's not about Super Bowl championships. It's not about World Series trophies. It's not about Nobel Peace Prizes. It's not about who's the smartest, who can write the best-selling book. It's not about any of that. It's about you're valuable because God created you. They're valuable because Christ died on the cross to take away their sins. That means we're all worth the same. And we should treat everybody the way we would want to be treated. In the words of Rick Warren, God created everyone, and Jesus died for everyone. Every person in your life is precious to God, and He loves them unconditionally. You have to care about your self-worth, and also you must care about the worth of others. Here's your homework. You ready? Messages like this, an altar call doesn't really fit. A message like this applies out there, in Target, in your school, yeah. To your teachers, your church, your country, the world. It takes place out there. So my encouragement to you is simple. It's not hard. Build someone else up. When someone's having a rough day, say, you can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. When someone's bullied in your hallway, you're there to say, I'm right here with you. You're going to be okay. When the bully who's bullying people lost his father, you say, I know you don't treat everybody well, but I'm here for you. I'm in your corner, whether you like me or not. It's caring for people. It's caring for people. Tonight, let's care for people.